I'm going to show you how I build these tomato cages out of T-posts and cage wire. I've been doing my tomatoes like this for several years now, but this year I'm trying something a little different, and I'm going with these heavy-duty 8-foot T-posts. I usually use wooden posts for my tomato cages. Basically, I just rip a 2x4 in half and cut a point at the bottom here. And these work great, except sometimes they do rot out at the bottom and you have to replace them the next year. And sometimes you have to deal with warping and stuff like that. So I figured the heavy-duty T-posts would be a good alternative, make things a little easier, and they should last forever. I have everything marked out where I'm going to put my posts, and my plants will be 2 foot apart. So I'm going to start setting my T-post here and driving them in with a sledgehammer. This is just cage wire that you buy in a roll. I cut it to 3 foot and then bend it into almost a half circle there. When I do these with wooden stakes, I just use screws and washers to pin this cage wire to the wooden post, but with these I'm going to use zip ties. I have 4 zip ties on here, and this is very secure. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these on here, and then I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how I grow my tomatoes on these cages. These cages are a little taller than what I normally do, but I wanted them at 6 feet because my tomatoes always end up outgrowing the cages by a couple feet. I have some extra cage wire here, so I'm going to go ahead and extend the bottoms of these cages down a little bit. There's slight differences in the way that I grow different varieties. With a heavy producer like this Early Girl, I'll remove all the suckers and just have one main stem on these. And something like these mortgage lifters that don't produce quite as much, I'll let one of the suckers go and do 2 stems. And as these are growing up this post to the cage, I'll just tie them off. What I do once these get up to the cage to hold them in place is take something like bamboo or anything similar, and then I'll just put it in the cage like that, and that really locks these tomatoes in place. This does a really good job of holding these tomato plants up. I've never had an issue with my tomato plants getting knocked over in a storm or anything. And also, as they're growing, they'll start growing through this cage wire and really holding on to it. The specs on these cages, the posts are 8-foot heavy-duty T-post, and there is 6 foot of post from the soil to the top. The cages are made from rolls of cage wire. These are in 4-foot sections, and I just bend a slight curve in them. People are always skeptical the first time they see these, but I'll post an update here in a couple months and show you how well these really work.